the party then a parliament. So not a total loss. We for happy and be inspired for let we know so we're on the right track and we're ready for move forward, you know, for help the country. Dr. Young Keller then a parliament, they try to do a lot of things so we go tell you about because me they follow with keen interest. Me being the, you know, I don't want to say seasoned politician because I'm saying make that reference there to older people or very old people. I am old, of course, but but I'm in between. But I don't learn a lot. Being in the parliament, serve as minister of government, serve na KKY. I don't promote Sierra Leone in many places around the world when I've been there in tourism. You understand? I know waiting now the value of the value and understanding of what Dr. Yonkela is about. That I make a joiner. I know he's honest, he has integrity and so on, but he's a global servant of the world. And because they're a global person, it will bring that perspective they can Sierra Leone when I need now. Because the problem in Sierra Leone is so boku, is so plenty, that if you don't get somebody who get the understanding, we get the capacity, we get the competence for handle them thing and day, we will just talk no more. And we will tire for talk. The present government we get for respect, but not to that end so we'll forget we safe. We get for make sure say we stay in touch with one another, we continue for push. You know, we don't want kill, we party, we want coalition, we want a coalition for grow. We get for continue for doing homework. And we don't go there against the present government because Dr. Kande Yonkela is a positive person. And some people in the talk some boku thing and bottom we're not correct. He as a leader of the NGC, na parliament, now in the first leader we don't make history in Sierra Leone for an opposition party, a young party like this, forget members of parliament plus a whole district. They will not feel so we work for that. We don't work for that thing. We try. And me, the one thing we are proud of most, of all the pain and suffering we will go through, they almost kill me in Akambia, they burn me Motoka, all kinds of things. I am proud to stand here today and say, Kambia district, when the key to the APC is now NGC. So then when they'll be the talk, oh no, wait to make her left the APC, we know the reason now. I don't need to go over it. We'll go McKinney, the fiasco will go take place there. I said, me, now me go continue for they behind this, for support this. No. Make myself make me only the history. And commodity. I don't be need for commodity. I get ambition, but my ambition not push me to the extent that even our rubbish have to take them. I tell them, I born APC, I born inside the party, I not join APC, Pashakina, I mean, and give me education, you know, so on and so forth. I get a legitimate right to the party. And then scam, then fet them than me. Well, make I not praise myself too much, but we help them. We turn for help, it turn the party upside down, and where we are today. You go out to make APC come back, because we all know why it won't happen. Because NGC is here now, and it's here to stay. And we all get integrity, we all honest, we all are people and we get the passion for develop Sierra Leone. And Dr. Kande, with all in connections overseas, I meet somebody who tell me, say, they are very disappointed at Sierra Leoneans them, where they not choose Dr. Kande Yonkela. Now I say, but you don't know what happened. The backstory was, all our votes were nullified, they were taken by other people. Now, so they fetch we. Now, the Western area now exposed the whole thing. Because we know the rally will arrest Western area, how they turn out to be. Then we also know that when they vote and count, that the polling stations them, they make sure they will not get the RF forms then. So we're not going to fight for competition outside. The side they will manage upline that they will the petition because they get glaring, especially Tom Colimba. The V8 Land Rover with them bond, I say make them left and they take the case down at court. You know, if you don't go to me satisfaction, not because of the vehicle, but NGC, we get for begin it take we stand for then kind of an injustice there. You know, we get for make sure say we follow through, and we get for make sure say we organize properly, structure properly, learn from we mistakes for like going forward 2023, we'll be ready. Because we don't go play them games, but since we don't know the game, we will know how to play with them. I thank you now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Victoria Saidu. I know they always, they never fail we. Always. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yom Keller there for can't tell we thank you. They can't tell we thank you because of the sacrifice we already make for the party, the NGC, and for Mama Salome. But on behalf of the New Jersey chapter, the Philadelphia and New York chapter, me want to stand here and tell Dr. Yom Keller, thank you very much, Dr. Yom Keller. The reason why I tell Dr. Yom Keller thank you, a simple reason. How many of us who left a lucrative job where you will make 6-figure income for go salon, for go serve? How many of us, let me check yourself, we go give up for sit down at Fortune 500 multi-billion board of director for go sit down at salon and serve Sierra Leonean people? And last but not the least, how many of us will give up in US citizenship for go Sierra Leone? Well, Dr. Yom Keller, we sit down here, he do all of that. At the time when the world yearned for him, everybody wants to make it can serve. All the packages then they speaking roles all over colleges all around United States. Then they sought out after in knowledge. He said, no, it's time for me to go home and serve my people. Go home. And he tell them, say they run for the highest office. If you succeed, you want them can join them for change 7 million lives. But if you not succeed, that don't mean say you know they come back here. They go stay in a little village in a kitchen and helping people there. Maybe Sierra Leone go open their eye and see what Yom Keller gets for offer. Thank you very much, Dr. Yom Keller, for all the sacrifice you make for Mama Salome and for the NGC. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to recognize the New Jersey chapter. Members of the New Jersey chapters, please don't come up here. Let Dr. Yom Keller know soon. They're in the house and we'll come full force.
Do you have visas to be here?
Good to see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
These are the members, esteemed members of the New Jersey chapter. New Jersey, well, thank you very much for coming. New Jersey, I know you guys will want to say a word or two. Can somebody volunteer to say something on behalf of the New Jersey chapter?
Thank you, thank you. Dr. Yom Keller, it's always a pleasure to have you around. And we have just put together, questions or concerns. So I'm just going to run through them. And hopefully, we will be a lot more from that. Oh. No. Just
After I speak, you can speak a few. That will guide what I say.
Well, we from the New Jersey chapter work very hard towards you election position as a president. We do a lot. We run with different people, and as you know, I go down there, but more or less go represent the New Jersey group. And we fight for getting candidates them and spend some time with you personally. We see light in you, and we are very proud. We did think for do a lot more, but after this meeting or this town hall meeting, there's a lot more the group members that don't discuss, and which we'll try to do for help you even more. There's a lot of various areas that we need to I don't want to say much. We'll come to the Q&A. I get, well, not so much like a question, comments and concerns. So at this point, we'll pass over to the chairman or the leader.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We want to call on the New York chapter. We get members from New York now. Welcome, New York. Welcome.
Yes, nine. Yes, nine.
Thank you very much, New York. Okay, good. After everything, all the chapter, then we'll get picture of Dr. Yomkela, and we'll get individual pictures then too. Mr. Sirajo, you want to say anything on behalf of your chapter?
United we stand. United we stand.
We stand united.
Not too fast today, bro. Tomorrow they fast, not tomorrow. Yeah. United we stand.
We stand united.
First of all, I just want to introduce myself on behalf of my membership in New York City. I believe I'm the youngest NGC chapter chairman all over the world. And I'm very honored for the before una all, you know. The first thing where I want to talk about, I just want to congratulate Dr. Kande. We've been through this since what, 2013, since KKY movement up to him being an honorable. Even though not today we want her, but now it start, you know. Changes need to come one now by step, gradually. So congratulations, sir. And I just want to brief a little bit about the New York chapter. We've been around since 2010 or 2011 where the KKY movement started. You know, we get with ups and downs there, but we've been there in all contributions, in all moral support, in anything what we did do. As KKY movement to NGC party, New York have been there, you know. 2 days to the election, Nasalon, we been donate one of the highest contribution. I didn't get into details, but I just want to make people that know. Say New York been give 2 days to the election and give one of the highest contribution towards the election. During the convention, most of the bosses will come up now the provinces. Now New York chapter been pay for them, for bring people in camp freedom. So these are the things we New York don't do, and we are ready to do more. So on that note, personally, we invite Dr. Kande whenever he get time for come New York, come meet with New Yorkers. We get a lot of business people, a lot of philanthropists. We want to meet with you. They know you, but they want to meet with you. I believe say NGC, they at the crossroad right now. Let me not sit there who fool yourself, say everything is perfect. You know, even Dr. Sef no say NGC is not perfect right now, since after election, you know. And the road where they head for so is not good. We are very young for getting kind of problem, yeah. You know, now something where we don't see past salon politics. Salon politics, not so English, big English, they fix salon politics. Demographic, they work past salon politics. you get for Didi, you dirty your hand for make you succeed. We know, you know. So what I try for say, we need for full we sleep them. We get what 5 years, 4.5 years for fix PCF and win the next election coming. So here, make me join hand for fix NGC and fix Salon. And I believe say if we come together as a Sierra Leonean, especially we within the diaspora, we can do it. We are Sierra Leonean, whatever we set our mind to, we can achieve it. That's what it is. So, Usa so I will stop there for now.
Yes.
When I wait for me again. Thank you. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sirajo. Thank you very much, New York. Yes. Thank you. I want to take this opportunity for introduce or welcome my own chapter, the Philadelphia chapter, the NGC. Philadelphia, please when I come out here, Dr. Yokelas. This is now cross section of the chapter because from the day out there, we try for get all that thing in control. Yes, Mrs. Fatima Bangura, Mrs. Monjama Congo, get vibrant women there. Mrs. Tui, of course. Dr. Yokelas, this now cross section of the Philadelphia chapter, and we believe say we are honorable Denaya with we. The Honorable Dr. Victoria Saidu will help guide this chapter, get this chapter in shape. We are young politicians them, and we need every inch of you knowledge and experience in Sierra Leone politics for help we mobilize now for make we able help NGC. So Philadelphia, we get a golden opportunity. We allow make use of that. Okay, Mr. Mahmoud Jallo. All right, Philadelphia, let me start the program. Yes. Okay. All right, now we take a seat. We go call on Mr. Samshuddin, Alhaji Samshuddin, call for introduce Dr. Yokelas.
Mr. Chairman, my brother, Mrs. Taleb, His Excellency, Honorable Dr. Alhaji Dr. Kando Yokelas, Honorable Mrs. Saidu Kamara, and I believe we have a honorable member for the Guinean Parliament here. Will he stand up so we can recognize him, please? One of the Guinean parliamentarians is here. My brother. Mrs. Taleb, my brother, go talk. Whatever una do, una small thing una do na ya, it makes we na fit. Because whenever they want sick we, una they send the winter begins the meet them, it's really back up. For introduce Dr. Kande for me, na a very big job. Some people say easy because I don't know how we work together in the UN, etc. But no, this man. That the most positive thing will ever happen as Salute is Pamagaida. And I said this, if you mean a lie, go check the record. For when me, I joined UN 92. Say I retire. Any two years Igbo Salute, bad. Ebola, mudslide, thief, all kinds of cholera. Tell Papa help me. The only positive thing where you from the international body, you know what about Saloko Musawu? Where the international body they say, where is a Sierra Leone, they get positive thing for talk about. Nice it also. I'm telling you plain. After the election, I come, I go, of course, na headquarters in New York. Like how many sister talk, people in there go, what's wrong with you, Sierra Leone? You don't know what you get, eh? I said, no. Doctor believes in a God and their points. And my sister, me one of them, if you not see what's happening, I don't know. If I let her go clear the dirty water for me. Because salon dirty. Let her make herself full. Salon, look at it now. 3 days after, it's self-talk, I say, well, it's a way to be expect. It's not training and it's called. This country is bad than we expect. But God make you get somebody with the parliament. Believe me, if you be the parliament that first day with this man enters, you go see the changes, the atmosphere changes that you will build. When it's in that power, man, the man in talk, where open mouth, if some intimidate this, the Bible with the answer speaker, the man will say, "Will be sit down." Because if the panic say, "Doctor, you're gonna go out China," now this, now God give you. Ladies and gentlemen, we victory in order at the map of the world today, but it is in the map of every Sierra Leonean because they know say NGC is here to stay. NGC is here to stay, and we leader not to the camera where anybody will buy it. Some of you don't call me, say, "Hey, brother, they say APC don't get candidate, and they go video." I tell them I say a lie, and it is not before me back, and they tell them before I say a lie. This man not go Norway. I should not begin this NGC so. You know how I go say this love not take go. This love not take go. Because this man now the hope of the future of Mama Salo. But he cannot do it by himself. We waiting here today. We all get five friends they will not come. Let me go wake them up. Say the time for sleep. It don't pass 3-4 months now election. No week. Let me begin walk back. Because some of you they go to in the next couple of months for what begin the walk back. Because like how my sister say, me go from Kono, who come on for Kailao. That will no pass. Because doctor will say that would also will say that would be. And brother and sister, if the guy say if the party would guy look at the road continue because the city big old before you. Particularly for pass around. When we reach when we say, I like you right there. That's why you say there. That's it. It's not that be careful out of the road. And they go to your position where they come on. Now say, Usamu don't come on. What's supposed to say you come on? Look at it. What is that? The next day, and then the thousand of Koro. That road there from Koro to that area they want to talk so. That one of the most important road there for agricultural products. So now the only man this where God give you the opportunity for get, we will take that country they go before. If I say I want to talk about time, well I go take if I go take past one whole day. Especially this moment, cause this man. If this man will be left the UN, like now when we boss before my boss don't die, that be the outside the leading African right now for occupy that position they are Secretary General. Not even for that position. But it give them up. Because elected people, elected country, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only true son of Sierra Leone, Dr. KKY.
Thank you. Please take your seats. Thank you very much. My brothers and sisters, friends, thank you very much for this warm welcome. On behalf of NGC headquarters, on behalf of my colleagues in the parliament, NGC MPs, and on behalf of Philo as well, my wife, who has been held back in Washington because the women's group has another event this afternoon, so we had to split on behalf of all of them. I give you greetings. I am here very simple to say thank you on behalf of everybody. We took up a good fight. 5 months before election, we finally got our approval. It was not easy. I see another brother back here. It took them 2 years to get their approval. After they had filled out their forms officially, they took it in. They were told to write everything by hand. Yes, to delay. And I was laughing at him. I didn't realize we'll get our own baptism too. So it was a miracle that in the end, with a lot of pressure behind the scenes, we got our registration. It would have been killed. We did what we could. We all help. Everybody help. Every single dime you sent, every one of you who volunteered and went back home to help us out, it made a difference. 5 months party for challenge people, they're not easy. We believe we won about 12 seats. The balance they pull on our hand. We petitioned. We will see how far they will go. We'll see if our judiciary as well will give us justice. Yes, we'll see if they'll give us justice. We have, in the case of Victoria, yes, I'll tell you that story. Victoria was in, but you know, say now posse we get mind. They don't tell and say, yeah, no other party, no they make rally na ya. But Victoria and American train, the Trangaes, say na ya, but na all get here. They get organized rally. Now, woman, they give them mobilize. They only they plan for her. When they're ready for her, before the Agbade force the money motoka. Yes, Victoria had to go into hiding. We're talking to her on phone while she was in hiding. The second vehicle we rented for her, we were on the phone with the guy, myself included, me and Joe Koroma. He run away with the motoka, we say, let's go hide on Akambia, because we rented it. We could only get Victoria and the candidates back into that Tonkolimba area 10 o'clock the night before the elections. We made our complaints to the EU observers and so on. I had to send reinforcement from my village to go there and take them in. So it wasn't easy. Every single thing we won there, we won the hard way. But there are some things we also did not do right. Yeah, we'll be frank about it. We were too ambitious. A new party tried to cover 440 out of 446 wards. Yeah. We put up 132 candidates, all the constituencies. I think we stretched out too much. We did things others did not do. We decided to pay the registration fees for all the councillors and all the members of parliament. Actually, we decided to start small. We said we'll pay for all the women. Then the youth said, but we said na youth will not get money. There were young teachers, young people. We said, okay, include them. By the time we looked at it, we had to include everybody. Other parties sold their candidature, their candidacies. But we did not do that. So we listened to what you said, that our party stood for certain ideals. Inclusiveness. We needed to sponsor those, to include them. We looked to balance, no ethnicity and regionalism. So we reached out, and we had to cover the whole country. Otherwise, people will say, okay, they're preaching inclusiveness, but they just concentrated on some areas. But you know, even in America, there are places the Democrats will not campaign 5 times. They go once, they leave. They're red states, right? Same with the Republicans. There are some blue states they will not go to. We decided to do too much. So in retrospect, you look at it, we stretched ourselves a little bit too much. Second, we did not protect our votes well. Third, there are things we did not see coming. You know, like a freight train is coming in front of you. You don't see it. You know, sometimes the light at the head is not on. And suddenly we were hit. There were institutional failures that we didn't see coming. We did some things very, very well. Nobody doubts our ability to mobilize now. Nobody. 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 And that is one thing we must keep doing regularly. And I do hope once dry season begins, we'll do a couple of things to still show that strength, that we can mobilize. We mobilized in ways that shocked people. I've been told by diplomats that Dr. Nkela, we don't believe your numbers in Freetown at all. Because we watched it 4 times, what the NGC did in Freetown, a new party, compared to the others. And those who had been there 60 years. They said, so we don't believe your numbers, but we can't reverse anything. So we know we have it. Whether in Freetown or Kabbalah, or Maburka, or Kono, we know what we did, right? We know what we did. As somebody said to me after the SLPP had won, he phoned the house, he was talking to my wife, he said, but put Kanden at the phone. He said, hey, we don't win, Una. He said, but I just want to say thank you for the campaign. I said, what do you mean, brother? Provoke now? I said, no. He said, when you did the campaign at Mabuka and Makini, he said, that's all they glad. He said, because you even get mind. You're in mind. When they say, Tolombo, you do so. He said, now when I get mind, you go to people headquarters. You go talk to them, and they say, we're not freeborn. And the youth came out. Full force. Full force. We did public lectures too. That's new. That's new. Politician in front of people, 3 years, all then students. Some of our events, 2,000 students. But what I say, I go now other side, we say public lecture. I don't prepare everything for go talk about globalization. So I go inside the hall, I see almost 1,000 people. So now I say, this make I do a quick check. How many of you are students? 1/3. How many of you are youth? Hey! How many of you are businessmen? So imagine my challenge to translate a discussion on sustainable development, intergenerational transfers, globalization in Creole. So I had to revamp quickly. But we did it for 3 years, taking our message to the people, and we will not stop. We'll begin our lectures again. Because now more than ever, we need to talk economics. I see my brother here, he's already pumping his own audios and so on. We need to educate. We need to educate. So in short, we made our mistakes. We did some things right. We got the results we got. There are some other things we could not have seen. Let's not fake it. I want to thank you. In all that journey, you were there. We dared to challenge the orthodoxy. Yes, we dare to challenge the orthodoxy, and we'll keep doing it. As Obama says, you must have the audacity of hope. We must have that audacity that Sierra Leone can be better. Yes, and we challenge the orthodoxy. But we formed this party on values. Justice. Justice matters. We combine justice and human rights. Some of us left other parties because of injustice, heavy-handedness. That we should never surrender. Justice matters, human rights matter. We moved on because we believed that corruption was bad, very bad, and we dared to talk about it. And of course we became enemy of the state. The Fetwheel. Yes. Take 2 days before election with the Supreme Court. Then they beg the judge there. Say rule against them. They reach a point, so then judge then say no, some go hide first. Say left we now. Yes. But we stood up. We kept going back to the courts. Kept going back to the courts. There are people in this room that were also arrested 2-3 weeks and locked them up. Some diasporans. I don't want to call people their name because I don't get permission from the fucking one. Yes. But so I know some man the way they in this country just made they lock up. Just may not be in the NGC. But simple interview on the radio and pick up within 1 hour. Yes, but other one a day. And also other colleagues will come up from England. So it takes a lot of courage to stand for justice, human rights, and to stand against corruption. Those values we know for surrender. We must speak for the voiceless. And it is those values that form the NGC. I know some people are leaving us. It's okay. When I don't expand, nobody will say nobody again. We will be formed NGC, we will be in a movement, KKY movement from 2013, not also 2011. We come together not because we want immediate aggrandizement. We come together because we believe Salon. NGC will say Salon first, not also. But look, we all, at least we try now, not also. No, they suffer now, they walk. And we walk, they see the reward. Now them values, they bring we together. So when I receive some man say, well, I go home, I say, oh, no, expand. If you deal with we, or they don't do it, they go home, that's fine. We'll call them back after 4 years. So please, no animosity, no vexation by anybody. Yeah? It is fine. Una no say run off. We consult una. We consult with people then. We then go out. Say waiting for do run off. We say, una go ask the people then and go. People then tell and say, hey, tell doctor say let no move for. Yes. 4 days after election, I was jogging on the beach, right? I was jogging on the beach. 4 days after election. People were shocked. But let me tell you what the youth did to me. I got mobbed that day more than before the elections. They couldn't believe it. The kids coming on the streets. On each place. Pala no forma pawio. No no sayo. Dog. Yes, young kids. Dog they roguio bonovexo. Yes. But the best was one guy. We had already jogged all the way now up to Cape Sierra and I was sitting on the rocks. The word went around saying, hey, and a dog sit on top there, stone there. So people came. So this Rasta came by, you know, the brother, all man they talk. And I said, I need turn now. He said, I want to sing for dogs. So they get mic. He said, dog, before I sing like you message. Man, they don't tell me na this. I'll tell you this. No for my pawio. Hey, we na NGC for life, oh. So man, hey, you wanna record me by what they tell her. Because I get for go show that face. Yeah, you are touched. that people joined us because they believed. They believed. And that's what we should continue. So those who will go, don't worry, we continue to talk to them. The last value, we call ourselves the National Grand Coalition, because we're a coalition of progressives. When I was back in Freetown, I was dealing with 4 political parties. Some of them, I helped them organize their conventions. But we did talk, because at that time, we wanted change in our country. So if we're in a coalition, it means that by definition, we say yes, we gather people, we're not a dread person. It also means that at an appropriate time, when the time reach, so God will form strategic alliance. If necessary, Gambia and a coalition win. Nigeria, they live in Yona, they said don't begin scatter, they form different alliances. Where the hour reach, they form coalition with other parties there. But NGC for super strong. Super strong. So that's one of my central message to Una. Una let we organize. We don't learn now. Before now, we Una say America rookie, right? Una be rookie. 5 months party. Now we don't learn. When they don't beat you 2, 3 say you say don't learn that say enough for party, not to so. So other side they don't know how for card. Yes. We even sabi talk better now than first time. Yes. But to God we sabi mobilize bad one. Social media, nobody not going to intimidate we now.
And Chris?
They shut we up. It's not possible.
And Chris?
You cannot. And that's what we shouldn't surrender to anybody. Yeah. We are open to criticism. I mean, we don't use it now. We cannot vilify with it. Now that if we not talk, say, the last 4, 6 weeks, and say Dr. Yunkela is missing in action. Now I say, NGC will not just talk. We already talk. You know the prompt we. We team up before microphone and people there we talk. But we talk when it's necessary. We not they over talk. They talk when it's necessary because we're not freeborn. Get clear conscience. Clear conscience. Yeah? So I wanted to remind you of our values. It's important. Otherwise, they get patience, you go. I was telling colleagues that in Ohio, the preacher on Friday, as if he knew I was coming there, I think he did. He did a good research. And his theme was faith. He said, in his own view, he said faith has 2 main sides. Patience and gratitude. I stand in front of you that we have to be patient. Patient. In America, sometimes they talk about strategic patience. There are times you choose not to speak. There are times you choose not to be seen. You choose your own moments. And that's what NGC we have to do. Based on our values. Based on our values. The second one is gratitude. Yes, I lost the presidency, but not to me there as well. I'm glad if they are not to una there as well. We morose now.
No.
Now bearing we get. Hell no. Because many of us are hard-working people. We be one change we country, not right this thing. But we'll change our next thing. And we stay the course, not to so. So other man and they I don't see. So other man and they I don't see in Freetown and they in deep depression. Psychiatric ward there now. Then us and doctor they inside this room. One of the things we have to go and volunteer for our mental health and depression. Yes, some man will accept the fact, yes, the condition. Say, wow, power can move. Look, we not with this. Somebody tell me, say, when they see me, they party na Dallas. They say, that we lost election. I did that. Now I say, becoming a freeborn, I get clean conscience. And demand the way they support me, I know say na so they day. We all work hard. None of we know the way they give gifts every day. We know they dance behind them, we forget. Not to so. Whatever they do it honestly. So when the one not right, we know say God don't open it.
I'm gonna give you 10,000.
When we were campaigning, people know around that country. Continuously, I would say that I was conditioning myself to have faith. I'll quote Surah Al-Imran, Kuli lahuma malik al-mulk, tuti mulka man tasha. To prepare myself that God has sovereignty and only He gives. But then we will also quote from the Lord's Prayer. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours forever and ever. Amen. Yes. So when election done and then all right, 4 days later, we then I beat you the job. Since that time they we okay. When they tell me for see don't set me much na parliament, almost 10 they not do not so. I say, wow, people really feel they can stifle NGC not to speak. 24th century social media, impossible.
No, never.
Impossible.
No.
But me say able do my own video then, I know to so. I got that equipment from some of you. It's there. I can do my own videos. I used to do it in the UN. Do my videos, send it out. You guys send it out to 1 million people. Yeah. By the way, we even did robocalls. We introduced things in that election. We'll keep them secret for you. We even did robocalls, and people wonder, hey, her doctor called me this morning. Yes, Mama Kenny, doctor. Hey, doctor, that phone call we make this morning. But why we want to reply you now? Yes. Again, diaspora man, you know when man they don't sabi, they don't sabi. Say, doc, do you want to do robocalls? I say, what the heck is robocalls? He said, that's what we call it in America. I said, really? He said, hey, just give me a 30-second recording. So I did 2, 3, say, kind of, this is not good. Come on, here's what we want. So this man standing here from Philadelphia. Another Philadelphia man. So we did 30 seconds, we did 1 minute. So the guy said, hey, I dish out 250,000. Yeah, so we innovated. We're not online. We'll be ready next time. So I want you to know that we have to have that faith and belief in the NGC, and what we want to create is an institution. And that's where I want to spend some time. That's what I preached. That Obama said Africa needs strong institutions, not strong men. Some have countered. You know, President Obasanjo and I had that debate in Nigeria. You saw the clip. They said, but Dr. Yunkela, you have to know, sometimes you need strong men to build the strong institutions. All right, we will not fight over that. Yeah? But NGC has to be an institution. So that irrespective if Yunkela did it or not, NGC survives. That's my dream. In all the jobs I did, almost 30 years, every single one I left, those entities I built are still there. They're still there. In 2009, 2010, I was called back to the University of Illinois to receive an award after I had left them in 91. Look at how many years, over a decade. They called me back because I had been nominated for an award for things I did there. Systems I built and programs that were still benefiting from federal funding. I was also invited to Michigan State. The course I developed in Michigan State still exists, agribusiness and food sales. I built it up from scratch. In the UN, similarly, yeah? Sustainable energy for all is still there. I built 2 big forums in the world. 2 energy forums at the same time. One in New York, Sustainable Energy for All. They just did it again in Lisbon. Yeah? Then another one, the Vienna Energy Forum. All of them still exist. I don't left UN almost here. Okay? That's what I want to see in NGC, which means systems matter. Structures matters. The rules of the game should be clear. No yuki, you know, for them. And I plead with people, left you ego nado. If you ego nado. Some man know if you want to let them correct side effects. Who don't go through that too. Say, hey, Brian, recent New Jersey sent $500. Hey, you don't trust me now? If my man don't text me, say send, I can for ask you not to so. Yeah, you know, one match don't come on. Hey, Sila, I hear you say when they do this, not true. Hey, doc, why you get for go ask Sila now? That means you not trust me. Hey, boy, you first called. Yeah. So at the big one, when I left with ego aside, let look salon. And let's build an institution that survives the test of time. People always say third party they fail. Third party no they survive. I say a lie. You for be innovative and the ideals for clear. This is not for us. It is to give our kids the opportunity and our young ones the opportunity that you don't have to feel tied down to one place. You should have freedom of expression somewhere else. If you're not right to go, you can come back. You're young, no worry. Ronald Reagan said been changed. 210 before he turned 75 now. Be president for Republicans, not so. So don't feel tied down. And that causes frustration. So what we have in NGC is an open platform, a coalition. And don't be surprised, yes, when we in the NGC, we all decided the term don't reach for partner with this other party, they do it, open, not afraid. But the term they not so. We got to be strong, we got to organize ourselves, restructure, have our membership clear, and get our database. And that's what I want to say. All paid up members for all chapters, we need, I'll give you the email address of the chairman of the party. We want you to send that information by email. The person's name, phone number, email address, and the category for which they registered. So immediately, within 2 weeks, we send the party cards. We've just done it for Washington and Virginia. So we know it works. Yeah? After the elections, we had our stakeholders meeting. We listened to people. So then youth man then go after me, say, Doc, you say fail we. So on side and day you've been too English academic. I took it on the chin, because that's what I was used to. When something does not work, we come and sit together. So let's do a SWOT analysis quick. Yeah, Doc, you know, the other time we call you for what was the name of that? Tasso. Doc, we tell you for Tasso, you don't agree. And they cost 3 votes. I took it on the chin. I couldn't explain back to say, but that time they have been there Kabalao. So other man before good not do so. Cannot be a one-man show.
Exactly.
All the institutions I've built have not been one-man show. They've all been built in collaboration with institutions, with corporates, because we share common values. So we've spent time now, we listened to that criticism. Over 350 people showed up. We planned it for 150 people. The other hand can say now meeting. Who saw they can't blow mine? Yes. So Monday, not glad they waiting the young man and say, oh, the young man and sitting there. Yes, and sitting there, we not go down. Yeah, they saw some lapses in the work. But we took it in stride. We have a report. We've set up 6 working groups already. They're operating to implement. We're looking at our constitution to review it. Yeah? And some other elements. We have a diaspora group as well. That's why I want the emails. Now, regular communication, information flow. We're going to have our newspaper out soon. Yeah, online version. Yeah. And also the local one. Who can guess the name of the paper? Salon Force. Salon Force. Honorable voice. Now you express yourself. So if you want to name the day, you name the day. If you don't want to name, anonymous, pen name. Some of we all will get pen name then today. Yeah? But we'll have an editorial board because we will protect you so that you don't get charged with LIDA. So the editorial board will check and they send you back, say, hey, modify this way. But you're going to express yourself. No vex, keep her inside. But be constructive. And by forcing you to write it and publish, you know you're being constructive. When you criticize, give solution also. So man, they criticize too much. Why not get solution? So our newspaper, inshallah, I don't want to put pressure on 1 or 2 people in the room, but I need that paper out already by September 15. I wanted it already in July, we don't miss. But I hope that by end of August, early September, we'll launch it. Yeah, Salon Force. We'll charge a little bit. Now, Salon, when you get newspaper, or you critical, then they give you advertisement. But I've told people, I said, don't worry about that. My diaspora folks, when we express itself to God, they go give $50 for publishing the thing. It's 700,000 for front page, not to Salon. So man, and then I know, say, then get ideas. They're willing every quarter. If you give me 4 articles every quarter, $100. Where they will do more. Some of you they go to a restaurant, $30 spend per 1 day. So every quarter, $100, you get front page with your ideas. If you want, you named it. If you want anonymous, this so. We go sustain with paper. We have to defy the orthodoxy. That's them have contract, no they make we not talk. We on paper, we not they rely on contract. We contract to them are the citizens.
Excuse me, reminders need your attention.
Front page twice a year. You know most money down there. They're wrong with paper, not so. We'll get the license already. So we're building these elements, building blocks, so that you have an institution called NGC. We can finance our own radio shows. We can finance our own TV shows. I don't want me alone out there all the time. I want some of you. With technology now, we can link you to Freetown. You said that they see your face. Yeah? All of that is possible now. Yeah? Digital communications. And when I sabi, ask me. We want to create those platforms. The young people. Is Mr. Zubairu here from New York? Or some, from Maryland. Those guys went door to door. Yeah? I see 2 young men in front of here. And come on, Baltimore, they don't recognize them. Baltimore, they are. They don't make it.
They don't.
Yeah. I'll give you the story of these men. Sit down. You know, I was campaigning heavily in Freetown, and a couple of them from Baltimore, from London. I was told, no, doctor, we will not go campaign with you any side. We want to go to the village. I said, which village? They said, Kicho. I said, why? They said, we don't want you campaigning here and you lose that constituency. So very embarrassing. Yeah, to my surprise. Yeah. We have friends in England and everybody say, Doctor, I'm not the campaign at all. They send me specifically for low no loss 062. That they will go shifting. So they went there, 5, 6 diasporas, sitting there with my uncles, organizing. And I told people, with your best plan, fault good day. This is my constituency. So I give you the story. I told them in Washington. I arrived at 2:30 in the afternoon. So I said, everything all right? Ah, doctor, everything under control, no worry no more. So I sat with them, so then people, they don't get their money for the polling for tomorrow, the polling agent, yes, it's day. They don't get their food money, all thing they found, they cook for them. So we checked. I said, all right, well, I'll go sleep first. Then we'll meet back 4:30. So 4:30 we meet, still I was assured. 7:30, somebody can call me. Doctor, I need for you, urgent, come. Even 10 not reach now, and the village, lighting on the better, not do so. Hey, doctor, then people, they don't get the money for people agents. He said, what? The young man who was given the money 3 days before had the money, lock in a room, he didn't come here. And he been there with me 4 o'clock. We call now, he didn't come here. And you know the long story. You fast forward, these diaspora guys got together, we put some other people with them. They were distributing that money till 3 a.m. in the morning in my village. We gave them the trucks. Some man jumped Okada. But yes, I'm just trying to tell you the extent to which many of you came to support us. I don't want to single you out. You came there. You've tested politics. And what excites me now, every side I don't go, from Dallas to Houston to Ohio to DMV, now, yeah. All those who went home, well, let me not say all, a significant number are even more motivated now. They say, we know now how to do it. I see a famous football player here. He just tells me, and yes, Mr. Senator Johnson. You know what he just told me? I said, Paddy, I mean, you name the SLBS. So that's okay, can you say, they make like us. He said, I've never been in politics. Never. He said, now you make, I go put me up in politics. But he's here today. And there are many like this. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I want you to keep the spirit. I want you to keep the spirit. Yeah, we've learned a little bit, and I want to thank all of you. I can't even begin to explain who went where, who did what. I was teasing somebody who welcomed me here. I said, this man, he looked different way they call Nadugo and I Fiba Warrior. Yeah. And everybody laughed. Yes, I know some other people who came there. Next thing I know, they're in the location. Doc, sorry, I came 3 days ago. I didn't inform you, but I'm right now in my village. Yes. People, many of you contributed. Others, you phoned. These are all techniques we've learned that I'm sure if we harness, well, we'll go forward. Few quick things, and then I'll let you ask me questions. I know you've heard about the efforts we're making for the dual citizenship bill. Yeah, that bill has to be bipartisan. We need full support of the SLPP and APC and C4C and NGC to get it through. We're trying to amend section 75A and 76(1)A of the Constitution to make sure that we don't discriminate against dual nationals who are of Sierra Leonean birth to hold offices in our country. You know I will not benefit from that anymore. I gave up my American citizenship, but it is something I believe. That you have ideas and other resources you want to share with your country, you should have that freedom. Because after all, you work here and every week you send money back home anyway. Some of them, they run whole municipalities, pay school fee, do medical care, give people the clean water. You're part of the society and you're sending so much money back home. So we've drafted it together. We have reviewed it. We've now sent it. The rule requires that when you have a bill like that, that is called a private member bill, that all you require is to draft it, take it to government printers, they print it. The law says not less than 9 days, so the citizens can comment on it. You will give a notice of motion in Parliament, they reprint it, and then you debate it in Parliament. We've done those phases now. It's with the government printers before I came, but again, I give credit to the other political parties. Now, the test is going to be whether we debate it and they allow it to go on the floor. That will be an important test of our Parliament, because as a member of Parliament, I have the right. They can defeat it there, but I have the right to table a bill. So we've done the preliminary stages. I'll see when I go back and I move the notice of motion whether it will be allowed. It will be a test of our Parliament too. The second aspect of that is the government, we expect, will set up a committee to have their own white paper, which will address the Constitutional Review Committee's report. You remember Justice Cowan's report. That one we expect them to do. And if they do the same elements, we'll put also into that process. Now, what I'm proposing, it means that in 2-3 months, if we are all committed, remember Elman get help from diaspora doing the election, not so. If we're all committed, we can pass that bill within 2-3 months. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for the Constitutional Review process. Now that's long. Committee meets, they redraft, then they have to do a referendum. To do a referendum in Sierra Leone is an election. Yeah. Everybody has to vote. That could take 2 to 3 years, and it requires maybe $20–30 million. So, we find ourselves in this wonderful position now. We can do it in 2 months, or we delay it forever and put it in the Constitutional Review Committee process. It's up to the Parliament, right? My job was to be true to what we had said during the campaign, and we've taken the first steps. The other thing is voting rights. The Secretary General of our party used to be a commissioner of NEC. So I sent him to NEC, he came back, showed me the act, the Electoral Commissions Act, the Sierra Leone Electoral Act, and there Section 18 is very clear. The NEC should make provisions for the registration of non-resident Sierra Leoneans. Since 2012, that was already in. Since 2012. So you don't need to fly to Sierra Leone to register $2,500 or $1,800 in Air Morocco. If they can register you here, you can vote here. So in my view, given what I have done, researched, it's not a law question, it's not a legal question. It's an administrative and management question. So my hope is, in December, NGC, we will support the Electoral Commission. We'll be engaging them over the next few months to say, what budget do you need to make that happen? And of course, I've picked up ideas from many of you. In America, it's very easy. You just need 5 locations. New York, Washington, Chicago, maybe Houston, Atlanta. Those are the main hubs of Sierra Leoneans. Perhaps you add California. They have consuls there too. You can have people register in those locations, 5 or 6, and they can vote in those locations. And it is cheap. Because remember, you have to fly to Sierra Leone to register, $2,000. Then you come back, you fly again to go and vote. Totally $4,000. I don't include your expenses now. Round it up to $5,000. But here, if they give you notice, 6 months, well, you go down buy that ticket on eBay, $150. You'll even organize buses to go to these locations and vote and register, not so. So my hope is we start working now with the Electoral Commission and the Ministry of Finance to cost it, because it is very easy to do. But you have to, I know a little bit of history. Professor Jimmy Kande, myself, I.B. Abdullah and others, we tried to fight for the same thing in 1991-92. We were all young professors here in the United States. Yeah, people assured us, but when the hour reached, they back off. And I know it happens to every government. There are promises made, but when the time comes, other interests come in. But now I see the map is very clear. If we're serious, between now and December, we should be able to start that process, put the mechanisms in place, finance it, so that our folks can vote overseas, just like they do for Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, and others. And they vote overseas. Why not us? It's very easy for them. Or South Sudan, and they vote. Yeah, some of our colleagues are working there. South Sudan, totally devastated, but then they vote overseas. Not also. It is doable. So for me, I'm giving you one of the agendas. We'll keep working on it. We'll not be discouraged. We'll just keep hammering away. That's why we started now. Otherwise, if you wait till 3 years from now and say, well, don't too late, we've been for don't do this. No, no, no. It will be open now, not so. So those are things we're moving. There are a few other legislative things. We'll be dealing with that. People have given me ideas of other bills that will move in Parliament. So in closing, we didn't get the presidency, but we're in Parliament, representing all of you. Parliament is important. I'll be doing another, there's a colleague who is asking for my ideas of recording what I say in these meetings. If Parliament functions well, Sierra Leone will progress. We copied the American Constitution. Our 1991 Constitution is heavily based on America. And the Parliament was supposed to be independent, separation of powers, and to provide a check on executive authority. We're supposed to also give oversight. If we do our work well, anti-corruption will have no work to do. We are the ones who choose we will appoint the ministers. We don't choose them. The president chooses them, but we vet them. We approve the ministers, the ambassadors, the heads of parastatals. If we do our work well, people will perform. But if we don't, there will be problems. We also are the representatives of the people. We have to speak to power. That's why we're elected for 5 years. So I tell people, I don't serve at the pleasure of Mr. President. I serve at the pleasure of people of Sierra Leone. They voted for me to be there. So it's an important role that I take very serious. It is not every issue that I'll speak on. I always go back to the party to consult. If in morning I will call Vicky or and I say, we do for do this thing. Because we are almost every 2 weeks, we find ourselves in a moral dilemma. And in Sierra Leone, people want you to lean this way, then they clap for you. So we've gone through these 4 months. You go see 1 week some man and they battle me on their social media. The following week, then they kill me. Say me get bad. Yes. The following week, there another group they battle with, me and my colleagues. The following week, then they damage you because why? We've just chosen, we have our litmus test. So I end where I started, values. When an issue comes up, we say, look, is this according to the Constitution? Is there any parliamentary act that guided us how we should do? What are the rules? Number 3, we go ask our party, what was our original position 2 years ago, last year as well? So we want to be consistent. So if you see sometimes we take these controversial positions. One of my supporters blasted me in one position we took because he had a vested interest. He was lobbying to be a minister. So we catch for vilify me, you go meet no sabi me one day. Yes, because at that time he wanted a compromise, to compromise us as a party because he wanted something. We chose a different position. I was vilified like hell, but I never came out to explain again. I just left it because I was confident that that's what all of you wanted. So we are in a difficult moral position there, but we'll keep doing what we have to do. And I thank you very much for your patience coming here from the different places. And given what I have seen, I know the core structure remains. I know many of you. We were in this battle before. From Houston now round, coming here, I see the core remained. And I've seen new people as well. That's all we need. Over the next 4.5 years, it will grow. It will grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yumkela. Always Dr. Yumkela. So this is for me, Sierra Leoneans, especially we in the diaspora, because we know in value. Ladies and gentlemen, this now question time. Please, Awala will make question or keep the question in short. Lord will let the statement there out. Let it just be question. I believe say a lot of people in there get question they really want to ask. Ask them. Dr. Yumkela can take 2, 3, 4 questions at a time. I want 1, 3 or 2. 3 at a time. So if you get question, okay, we have a lady back there. What's your name?
My own question what I want to ask is, I hear the doctor talk about, you know, the voting for the dual citizen in America or, you know, people around the world. Is it possible if they can add also the absentee voting ideas there? Like in America, you know, sometimes some people are not able to go to maybe Washington due to jobs or something, you know, but they really want to vote. But if you have the absentee voting where they can vote, you know, by paper and then mail it, would that be possible?
My Lord, do one first.
Good question, Madam Mabiti.
Lord, do one first.
Any other question?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What's now your name, sir?
Alhaji Aliu Hamid Bakar.
Okay, Alhaji Bakar.
From New Jersey. Honorable, good evening again, sir, and I want to congratulate you for the election you win. And we continue to pray for you, so God Almighty will direct you and give you all the support you need. We in New Jersey, we concerned about the structure of the party in America Yasu. We believe say we have to start with the grassroots, each chapter, each state, forget the structure. And then we get a national structure, we're going to move the party, so when we talk with one voice. So we appeal to you, sir, say before you left or go back, let we try to put them in place. We start from grassroots, each from state to national level. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Your name, sir?
You know, Moivi Tijan Keller. My own question is, I want to know what Dr. Yum Keller will do here in colleagues in parliament for ensure say they not go thief the people that vote like how they do the last time. Because we all know say the vote where the people then cast not to in the result reflect. So I want to know which checks and balances that will put in place for ensure say the Electoral Commission is truly independent and transparent.
Thank you very much. So the first question, it is possible, is it probable? I don't know. But we'll engage the Electoral Commission, yeah? We'll engage the Electoral Commission. We will see. As we begin the discussions now, hopefully with them, we'll see what the possibilities are. I'll link it with this other question. My brother, we all know now what happened, yeah? The first challenge to the election results was done by SLPP 3 days after the election, first round. They did a huge press conference and showed the faults. We followed the next day, NGC. Of course, APC said everything was fine until runoff, right? They came with a longer list, including everything we had said. In addition, since after the election, we have almost 68 petitions of parliamentary seats. You have 132 parliamentarians. If you petition 68, and they not pass 50%, you say they're not valid, not so. So we are saying the election, something was wrong. All the evidence we provided, and some people even went to court, I think the APC went to court. Then the petitions that came after the election was over. So you know something did not work. But Nasalon, we did not do so. Anyway, we shall see. This is why you require bipartisan collaboration now. You require the opposition to be ready to make some institutional changes. Otherwise, we all perish together. Yeah? But we, NGC, will keep putting out what we know. Yeah? What we know. But I just gave you the facts. SLPP, NGC, APC, C4C, we all come with lists for sure say something been wrong. And if you we don't do, run off, don't do. Government don't do. Petition still going to court. 68. So something was not right. And we'll see what we'll do. But you need a bipartisan approach because these are all things you have to take to Parliament together. I end up with your question. Yes. It will not happen while I'm here. But I'm having a conference call at the end of this tour next weekend to talk with the executives. We need to come up with common guidelines. We'll use the party constitution, which we're reviewing now, but clear guidelines as to the rules of the game in North America. And it is not impossible to do. I tell people that as a student here, I always found a way for save small money for good Tegloma dance. Tegloma has survived 40 years. So in other words, Sierra Leonean institutions are there that defy time. It means that they had systems, right? Chapters, and they had a federation. Everything by voting. But the rules have to be clear. We'll have a franchise model. McDonald's are the same also. So I want those guidelines agreed on in the next 2-3 months. Yeah? And the terms of reference, role of the chairman, role of the section, role of this person. So they're defined roles, so ego no go play. One man doing work, but collaboratively. So for me, the next 3 months is defining those collectively with your executives. And of course, they will share it with your membership. We approve in Freetown, we send it out. My dream is that when we decide to vote for the new executives, just realistically, I suspect it will be first quarter next year. By the time we finish putting all the building blocks in place. My dream is send 1 or 2 people from Freetown to join in. In addition, like all our organizations, you have an annual convention. Yeah. So you elect your leadership that you respect. But I want to plead to people, don't stand forward to hog those positions. So man like title. And wait all and so even if you know the work now, no can hear. So man also not like collaboration. I've seen all of this, my dear brothers and sisters. I don't think inside now 3 years. I'll be exactly 3 years on the 22nd of August. I don't see I'm raw. Building an institution from scratch, tough. I built others in the first one. It was easy. Systems are there, templates are there, and collaboration, and we put funding together for begin from scratch. Ways on 10 and the egos big, it's tough. So I'm pleading with you, if you not get 10, not even for position. For leading, not easy. Always it's a small core of people who go stay, go make the hall and sweep. Always, now a small group. I don't dip organization in America too, I know. So I'm pleading with you, when we have the rules defined, team up before say I want this position because I'm ready for work. When they begin blast in a Freetown, you can forget 10. For no wake you up 2-3 in the morning, say paddy, go to Congress for Wiba. Yes, there was a time I would have been arrested in Freetown. I know what we had to do. Yes, it was that risky, eh? But the leadership has to be ready for those things. That if they say that the whole we man there because they talk, we're ready for demonstrate now State Department in Whitehall in London. For say, we will not allow anybody to suppress our political leadership. It's not possible. We will never go back to that. But these are the responsibilities. You forget patience. When people they make plabale, say no add fire day for Berlin. You know, leadership na komrawo. So I will just say once we define these things, and we all agree on the time for the elections, that it will be transparent and the right people will come forward and you vote for your leadership. Yeah, that's what we want, and you have a federation as well. Yeah, like other organizations, and you decide how you get that delegate system done. That's what we want. I think that's how it will work. Yes. Yeah, we're doing the same locally. Yeah, some of these task forces we set up. One of them is charged with that responsibility because we have to do by law, our constitution. We have to have a convention next year, April, May. So my hope is all of yours is finished and it goes into that convention as well. So yes, restructure, get good representation. Also, your monthly dues can come on time. We have a formula, you keep some here, send some headquarters. All traceable. With digital communication now you can trace all of that. So that's how we want. That's how you build an institution. And I don't want it to be a one-man show. Una said game man the way we talk. Una organize, una said. Signal from Freetown, what they want, they una said they want now. Because we are global. NGC is a global institution. Okay, more questions? Yes. All right. I'll come back. Let me take these 3 here.
Dr. Kande, you just talk about not one-man show. This now the hidden truth. I mean the host hidden truth. So no matter how deep the truth they I will bring and come out. I was very, very disappointed in some of the people that were elected to make sure that Dr. Kande Yumkela wins this election. Some of them were there just because of title. First of all, Mr. Jesmed, how are you, sir? I have been with you on TV several times debating issues. This is the first time I'm seeing you in person. I called Bo. I was born in Bo. I know you went to school in Bo. My name is Lansana Sako. The Madinga chief in Bo said, die-hard Mada Bio fan. Die-hard. I spoke to them. I did everything in my power to tilt the scale on in your favor. And they did. All they needed was one person to go there and have a meeting with them. I contacted Mada Bulong. They gave me numbers. I contacted people. Go meet the Madingo chief. He'll take you to the Timini chief because the Timini mosque is right opposite the house. Nobody went. I did the same thing in Kenema. There is a priest that left here, Mr. Fambule, to Kenema. His wife is from a chieftaincy home. Right, no, I know. Yeah, and he called me from Kenema. He said, Sako, I am going to organize a meeting. I'm a diehard SLPP, but you've convinced me here. So I'm going to organize a meeting in Kenema with my wife's family, the Paramount Chiefs. I called, they gave me a number or two to contact some people in Kenema. Nobody contacted Mr. Fambule. So we are here in the diaspora. I think we worked harder than most of the people that were there. And my concern was, you were the only one that was campaigning all over the place. What about the other guys? Why would they follow you in Bo? Why can't they branch out in other places? Was there a structure on how to operate or how to win election? Was there that structure, or did it break down? What can we do to solve that problem the next time? Thank you.
Good point. We had structures. Some of the structures broke down. When the real heat of the moment came, some of those structures broke down. So my brother, a lot of what you've said is true. And people told us also all of this during the stakeholders meeting. Yeah? And that is why we want to give people the opportunity now, early next year, whether it's here or it's early on, across the country. We'll have an open process to make sure that people choose the right people that are ready to work. Yeah? And we've learned some lessons. There are some other horror stories. We keep those internal. But your point is well taken. But they are hard-working people locally as well. Yeah? I saw some of those guys brutalized, roughed up, and some of them prevented to even move to some places to campaign. But some others let us down badly. They let us down badly. Bilaterally, we'll talk about some of those horror stories. If you see the report we have from the stakeholders meeting, and some of those are identified and circled. We don't lie. I'll come to you guys. Ladies first, right? Oh.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nadia Saidu Kamara.
I met her for the first time, but we've been talking on the phone. She's mom's rear guard, you know.
I was recently in Sierra Leone. I went home June 21st. I left the States. I landed the 22nd. I left July 1 and came back here July 2nd. My question to you is, you're in a very strategic position within the government, and you're in the legislative branch. And for me, by a product of my mother having served in both the legislative and the executive, I've seen, I guess, the inner workings of both branches of that government. The legislative branch is in charge of making rules, laws, regulations. The judiciary executes it. The government is in charge of making sure everything runs smoothly. Recently being home, I guess my big concern is, what are your plans with respect to being in Parliament? How do you plan to form strategic alliances with respect to addressing needs of the youth? And I define youth as being 18 to age 36. That's literally about 35, 36. That's essentially half of our population. So they're unemployed, they're uneducated. And also for the women, what strategic alliances or programs or ideas do you have in place to address those two segments of the population? How can you help them to be able to get the assistance that they need? How can you help them to be able to uplift themselves and their family, and to be able to provide for themselves in the next generation?
Unfortunately, we are not in government. The most we can do is make sure either we propose legislation or we back legislation the ministers will bring. As a Minister of Youth, the Minister of Finance, that when they bring this legislation, we make sure that they are sensitive to the needs of the youth and also the women. Number two, we hope they take our own ideas as well. We had good ideas for creating jobs for the youth, empowering the women in our manifesto. And we've been passing that on to some of the ministers in charge now. And I have said to them very openly, I've said it in Parliament, that if the government needs ideas from me personally, apart from my colleagues in Parliament, we're ready to give, or if they need the expertise of the NGC. We have a lot of people who have specialization in those areas you mentioned. I've offered that also to the government. I say, when you need them, call them. Because all those sensitive areas you mentioned, youth vulnerability, women as well, it is in our collective interest that we fix it. It's not a partisan issue. If we don't, 42% of the population is below 18.
60% fall in that age range that you mentioned. If we don't fix it, it's a time bomb. Recently, there was an article last week about the African population explosion. When I saw it, because Anthony said to me, "But Dr. Yunkela, you were talking about this already 8 years ago." Yeah, I even wrote an article about the youth bulge. Did a lecture in Ghana also last year, and one of the central pillars was the youth bulge. Will it be a demographic dividend or the crisis in waiting? And this article last week says our populations will double by 2050. So Salone now, 7 million people not get clean water, not get good health care, they not get job. 60% not get job. What happens when we're 14 million? Not a wahala. This is why politics has to change. People should not be too sensitive when we say let's have a better discussion. Yeah? I call for an economic summit now. The crisis in that country, the economic crisis, is serious. One party no able fix it. They should be open-minded. Call some more economists, businessmen, bankers. Say, how do we fix this? That quick fix no they work. That was one of the problems the past few years. People do something quick and then they make an announcement, don't save the world. We know deep down that it is just a flash in the pan. That's not going to work. So you remember, I wrote about institutionalized leakages. 2 years ago, showing all the places where money was being leaked. Why? Because the Auditor General was reporting it since 2014. They told me it's academic. Yes, they told me, this is don't come with theoretical business. One of the leading politicians, another name, yes, in his rally, he says some people come from the diaspora with their theories, they don't know anything about politics. So when I said on radio, and it was one of the big shots, yeah, he said it, because he was picking on me each time. So I went on TV, and the journalist said, they said, oh, everything you said is theory. I said, I know who said it. Tell him that the chickens will come home to roost. They didn't listen, institutionalized leakages. Then I wrote another one, Rankonomics. Yes, several months later. And I said, yes, this is now not thievery. When you do fake things, and that's what I love about economics. You can lie, but inflation, they catch you. Unemployment will catch you. Poverty index will catch you. Your exchange rate will whap your head. So when people tell me the economy is collapsed now, it didn't happen just the last 4 months. It's an accumulation of bad policies, probably 2 decades. For those of us who know economics, we've been patching, firefighting, do temporary, you go on TV, you holler. No, we've not really dealt with the structural issues. And so that's why I suggest to government now, having a real economic summit, 20, 25 people, even some from outside. How do we fix our economy? How do we diversify it? How do we create jobs for the youth, the women, growth sectors? How do we have a recovery program? What do we borrow for now? God, we get lent money, fitty fatter. I wrote about the debt burden, that successive governments will have their hands tied on that, just to repay debt. But nobody listened. Now we have to pay the debt. So, sorry I diverted a little bit using your question to answer some other things. But I just hope this government also is careful that you don't just rush to score new quick political points. Otherwise you'll fall into the same trap. You have to deal with some of the basic building blocks, and I hope they do. Yeah? But we have a lot of ideas and we're ready. Education, free education we're supporting now. I've made it public that NGC supports the government fully for free education. We're going to do the same for agriculture and fisheries if we're called it. Youth employment is another one. That's what we call constructive opposition. Not only Beleo, because I've been told, hey, where I did battle the government, so I say for education, may not be professor before, to go down there the back there. Because I want it to work. Sure. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. Sure. 2.8 million kids. How do they feed them every day? Free meals. Do you know the supply chain and logistics required to make sure that food arrives? Look where they sell palmide with ink inside. Yeah. How do you make sure the food is safe? We don't poison the kids. So you need a whole system, and this is what I tell people. Now, Salo, everything people say common sense. To do that, not to common sense. Now, systems. Gotta plan it. You have to have the checks, the inspectors, and everything, the auditors, quality auditors, food safety, hygiene people, nutritionists. Not to say na quick thing no more give the man contract, but also I've said to them, the way we help you with free education as well, because it's important for the youth, is to make sure we become policemen as well. If they give somebody contract for send exercise book, we want to know how much money they get and how much exercise book if for deliver, which quality. If they give person money for go build school, so we pick in there. We want to know who that. Publish the list. So we own constituency, we track them 24/7 for make sure that they build the school, right? That's how you help a government as well, to monitor, to check. And we in NGC, all the 4 MPs, we invited the Minister of Education to our constituencies, to Gambia, to the district. We were the first to do it. That's constructive opposition. But we're also ready to say, hey, you're violating constitutions now, please don't do it. We oppose regimes when they did that before. See what I mean? All right.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the New Jersey group, I think so we met a couple of days ago. We get a few comments or questions, and you touched on membership, and it was very refreshing for no say we'll get a system now in place because we were asked the question. But to extend that, how we plan for keep the fire burning. In other words, talking about dues, you know, people that were all pumped up for support when they go for the election, but now the elections are over. And how was you also mentioned about the newsletter or the newspaper that already come out. Not only that people are going to send article, we expect say NGC for the present some updates, quarterly reports them, such that people then will know say, okay, they get for pay their dues because there's something they're working towards. Then the other part of the question is transparency. You know, most of we New Jersey, there were, you know, we had times when just before the election where we asked question about accounting for all the chapters and the donation, everything is there. Meanwhile, the questions are being asked, the problems are being kind of highlighted as though, you know, money. So, waiting for which for us for the get from there, waiting going to come into that newspaper.
Are you just coming in, sir?
No, I've been here.
Oh, okay.
Such that all man will, you know, if they call me, members in our chapter, say, hey, listen, you don't miss to do it. If the man will say yes, now school and they go be, because school never done this year, you know, they get pumped up. So we know that let us get more transparency with all this now from the party as well.
I want to commend you when you suggested talk about economic farming. Suggest that critical for economic system in our country, that's very important. But the one thing we know about they call you the energy man. That's your name or no. And we know that you've done everything worldwide, UN, you name it. But all what you don't talk about today and you never make mention of anything like that. What are your plans? I know already they do some other things about energy in our country, in certain areas. But then, this is very important. If you talk about the economy, you talk about other things. Without energy, all these things are not going to be fruitful. So I really want to know what in you plan, because I'm sure the government will even like try for marginalize which idea you will come with. But it's very important that you take a leading role in the energy sector. I get one more question. The last one I want to say, you talk about the party, and it's a young party who need for go nationwide. I want to know what are the strategies then. Now, I mean, we will commend you don't care, you don't come into tweet, but then what did happen back na Salon? You don't go Pumaru, you don't go na Jujuba, or you don't make plan for do anything. We need for say this party. One of the things why would they say be very difficult, or some of the things that we're not able to do, or fail for do. I mean, I would say in our defense time factor, you know, we'll not be able to go everywhere. But then we'll get an opportunity for do something now, for go to the last village, for make representation. I know you will tell me say you get structures, but I really want to see something, a workable plan that will let you go all over the nation, be able for take NGC at the last village. I know see you don't go to my village that bonbon. Yeah, I know that.
But the other villages and we don't ever go. So one talk about all of that. Thank you very much.
For sure. All man they wait for dry season. So on side they all want going and say no doctor. If you want can say we say we no want to see you. But I had to forget that people and now they plant and so on. So don't go through that 2 months. I finally yield to everybody. I say but already since I've been in a campaign and say nah different way you want to go tell Tenki. So yes, we're planning the tours again across the country. Yeah, heavily between over an 8-month period. But the key is not to me one for go. Yeah, let's not make it a one-man show because that was also part of the problem. I was everywhere, and sometimes nowhere. So now we want to say no. We need a system. See, Vicky, you and Lukaile almost sign a Kaila on the way for the no. Yeah. Or they pass Komo Kaila on Vogoko. No one said they can. I had teams also going around. These guys went to about 7 or 8 locations on my behalf. So we have to make it systematic. Yeah. And also give some of you notice that hey, an NGC team will go over there. Other things I will not say public. Because on Udelan now we yams white. Small. So whatever strategies we're going to use going forward, we go high down. On energy, don't worry. I've spoken with Kanja Sise once, and I've said to them I'm available. Also, I'll be serving on the Energy Committee of Parliament. So that I have volunteered my time also. The key advice I gave them, I'm not saying they're doing what they're doing because I said it. But I told them that very early. I said energy is complicated. Big energy projects take 3 to 5 years to incubate. Sometimes you need millions of dollars to do the feasibility study. So now that you've come in, don't throw everything out. Go sit down, let them brief you well. You look at the portfolio. If you throw them out, it will take you another 10 years. I said, so don't throw the baby with the bath. Even then, the World Bank and others finance a lot of feasibility studies. It took time, 3, 4, 5 years. Like Bumbu na two, not Otideo. Kabatem. Then I know, APC 10. Then now, implementation begins. See how long it takes? All I ask, and that's where we should be magnanimous. When you launch these projects, again, not mislead the society for say, just happen. You're raising expectations too bad. Give credit. Let us teach our people to understand that development takes time. Bumbuna phase 2, not to today. Now from Pakaba to APC to now. Feasibility studies were all done. Contracts given. Now I make it a start now. So all of that I say to people, give people the reality. Because you see, if they understand, then they adjust themselves. But if you give them the impression, see, they solve energy problem. In 1-2 years, you don't know the sector. Yeah. And you go do it in a hurry, they mess up. 5 years from now, they crash. So that I have given my order, and I'm happy to see that government is systematically finishing off the energy projects they found that are credible. Others you can question, but don't throw the baby out with the bath. But on that committee, I'll be able to help them. Now let me come to the Jersey issues. Jersey, you raised a lot of issues. What I say to all of you, all those issues raised by Jersey, answer them for me. Answer them for me. How do we set up systems now where we track our funding? But membership fee, not too much, $10, $20 a month. That now by credit card and I secure. Have a secure place to do it. There's a Sierra Leonean with a huge IT company that I know. He's doing these contracts for the federal government. I want to talk to him to set up our payment system here, backed by a credible company. So you give your credit card number to that company, not to Salon company, now American companies. Now they do PayPal and then at the back end. So people are comfortable. It's a credible company, audited by the federal government. The money they go there every month. They think said $20 per month, nanati, not so. And that's what we should start to do. We begin, it just goes automatic. But even there you have a tracking system. They show New Jersey is so much. Yes. All man, that's simple digital thing there. For those are the systems I want us to set up. Yes. Yeah? Yes. And indeed, I have said, you'll choose your own representation based on the guidelines we all develop. Yeah? But I want each chapter to also have an audit committee. 2, 3 big men there, and big women. Where they're above everything. And when I do it quarterly, me what in my organization, the external auditor day. Whether you elect her or not, then don't elect her. You get for every 6 months, They just say you notice. I am arriving November 7th, whether you're ready or not in the car. They do their audits, they do their observation. If they see any issues, they send you a letter. Hey, thank you for receiving us. We did the following. We have some questions, A, B, C, D. He left to you for answer. You answer, they agree, they modify. If they don't agree, they attach you reply, rebuttal to the observation. It goes straight to the board and the website. There you go sweat now on our board. Dr. Keller, we want to know, how come the project in country X not move? Then you turn to your finance guy. Hey, what happened? No, Dr. Keller, we prepared a briefing note for you. Yes, we need that. Say, yes, sir, Ambassador, I understand. It didn't move because we didn't get clearance from your government. We sent a letter on this date, and your cabinet has still not approved. On this other one, yes, we messed up. Finance did not release the funds. So you set up your own audit committees as well. 2-3 senior citizens where they check. Most people don't pay, waiting day. The last thing I want to emphasize, do ya on a low left that ad hoc thing. A lot of you meant well. You sent monies back home for all kinds of projects. We could not even keep track. Because some people find out, say, well, can they get them boku diaspora family? As they everyone name now. Hey, I made a call from Freetown. We're going to do gala now. So some people tell me, say they do gala na diaspora finance and $1,000. I say, hey, we don't want that to happen anymore. We want them to go through the secretariat. So if they come to you, you send back to the secretariat. Because like their location, where my brother mentioned just now at the east, the extreme side, we want to make sure say reach there. Then obviously the man don't ask for help, nobody no know. Some of you were very generous. You sent t-shirts, you did things, but a lot of it we did not know also. You know, I go through, and even now I don't come, people tell me waiting and I say, oh really? So again, having systems in place that if the way they do on your own, you inform the group, say, hey, this are the targets, and because this location, I know the people then, but at least the group know. They will all get credit. If you see what I mean, yeah? So, but some of those issues you raised is issues we all have to answer in building the systems now going forward. Chief, it's like you don't overthrow that mandate. Come on now.
After we talk, we get.
All right, and then I'll come
back.
back.
We'll get the cookout. After question, everything is done.
No, we'll take 5 more.
Okay, just say 5 more.
I'll take 5 more.
Okay, now, honorable question. Honorable, the question is.
Please, guys.
They ask the present government, but is it 100 days or 3 months or 4 months they don't take? I go and make you explain, give me some of, because they say they don't bring some development. So 1 year from you, some of that development. 2, the committee and the campaign are not are still a campaign. Although somebody is not to campaign, because they try for talk with some of the C4C members. I don't know if they'll be meet with you. So let me organize that. But not be able to meet you directly and not bypass the chairman. So I talk with the chairman. So most of them ready for car na NGC. Most of them. We don't say for with economic amount. I mean they DCP, so nothing happen. As they give Pabu Kuroba position, top minister, DCP died. So we not be one of his strong campaign master. So nothing that happened. So for not for the game. I know. I need to tell about the not believe. So that the time this for the campaign to them still low. The own politics now do it at the campaign. 35 years to Adipana. So I don't know if the people that they be able to meet with you through Mr. Jabi or not. But that development I want with this ID card business, membership card is very important. Because I don't know they say, bra, wow, membership card there. Because we need for to pay this money every month. The party need money. They need money. For pay that money, everybody forget membership card, pay what you get for pay every month. But that thing is wrong. Just like I say, destruction, not it. So I go want to make you talk to all the leaders in America, all over the world. This party card, everybody forget that.
We run over 3,000 party cards.
No, recognize the name at the
party office. As I say, once we get the list there now of paid off members, within 2 weeks by DHL you get your cards. We've now done it for Washington, Virginia, Houston, don't send a list yesterday, same here. yeah, but locally as well. And now we want to see how they decentralize it. People no need for country to hopefully. We still try to acquire one more machine for the print the cards and now for the higher level. Patron, grandship patrons, until we will get picture. You know, so we try to work on that. But now we have a system in the party office. We're going to decentralize. Because being here for control and small. Now that might be part of the plaba who again at the other side will be there. It was a big controversy. So we learned from that one. They will say no, we must have databases. We need to have databases. We can track how many were issued and so on, and it will be centralized. On within the government they do, well, that question they had for that talk. Otherwise they will say the man don't go America. They don't begin talk for government and not to government official. Not to so. So that dodge that question they that no can get problem. This man may not put it on. You can't come before. Sent to come before.
No. Okay. Yes, una welcome. We are the part of the organizing team there. Dr. Yunkela, I thank you very much for this tour. One thing really I want to elaborate on how the election takes place. I want to talk to you. We don't hear the development, strength the way don't take. Now you district when I can be a district. At least charity start from home. But we from the Eastern Province, especially the heart of the lion, like anybody. Now then we come out. We feel we don't defy that gravity for say yes, NDC now party. You just mentioned something, now just not say we not get for the bypass for those things. We be don't promise to people in academy say, especially the students they say. Every holiday term we go introduce free education system for 1 whole month that will give certain scholarship to students there. We don't start them back. That particular idea, we not think say we need to go through, we did for people there. And now we don't go through radio program, we don't take the school, we go now one school, we say free education after school program or holiday program. Now they say for NDC, the principal directly. They say NDC there again, I say NDC still there. We don't do it last year, we don't do it this year back. We come out, we go now our private school, they allow we pay. So Nyamusa, a leader, they do a great job. Now the question is, that's just elaboration. The question is, please, I they tell you, and I they ask you, not give up at the Eastern Province. I believe say they disappoint you, or people that disappoint you. But to be very honest, the people that they vote, they voted.
We know, fella.
Eastern Province voted for you. We know what you do. Some of you regret and we will not go do all what you do. We left before the election. But this time around, we forget now we don't see how votes they go. We don't learn. So please, all the developments straight away don't take Nakambia district. Extend your hand. Give your hand to other places. They give your hand to them. And they see reality. So they are God fearing people then. So I'm not fixing a question, I just a statement.
I fully agree. I take notes carefully to everything we don't say. So that's why the line up now. This is the firing squad. So make the line here.
Yes, Honorable. Again, congratulations on the election. And then, as I say, you're not the person who will make, get yourself involved in politics for the very first time. I know most people are surprised. But the one question I want to ask, which is concerning the Constitution of Sierra Leone. You say the Constitution of Sierra Leone is designed as that of the United States. You know, similar, probably not sure. Sierra Leone, as I see, the majority of the parliamentarians then are APC, which make SLPP then get the Speaker of the House. Because the party, America, the party with the majority, and then they get the Speaker. But Sierra Leone is the other way around. So I just want to know, for them we just educate yourself from.
See, man, we want to answer that question for we said for one
Anyway, me on question something concerning Kwenadogo district, okay? Right now, we know say we get one of the strong member in Bangba. We right now, SLPP don't take them away, but me concern and question to you, Dr. Kande, the logistics where we been gathered, we send na Kwenadogo. I go tell you exactly how we Hondas them will be left na Kwenadogo in care of a Bangba, what thing they do right now with Honda, because we get a different feedback for them property then. So
thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Kande for being here in the first place. I'm the acting Secretary General for Pennsylvania, and I took that position for a reason. You know, whoever is my friend here on Facebook knows how we fought tooth and nail with the other guys. In fact, some of them, me personally, they called me and apologized. Man, let's turn it down. I told them, no, I believe in this guy. My question has to do with party and how we're going to be succeeding. You know, after election, have you guys ever thought of conducting comprehensive research on the reasons why we lose this election in the first place? Because I believe in research, not just word of mouth, pen and paper, and come up with recommendation and conclusion. So if you guys haven't done that yet, you know, I entreat you that, you know, we do that moving thoroughly. You know, my chapter knows I'm very aggressive, and I do believe in failure. Failure is never one of my vocabularies. So that's the only question I have for you. Thank you, and you know, I do admit that this is my first time meeting you, and so thank you so much.
And that's what people cannot believe, that there are people who don't know me in Sierra Leone and outside who supported the idea. And that's why in our discussion here I started with values. We came together because of values. So I'm very appreciative, but yes, we've done an in-depth assessment of how we lost, even by region. Yeah, as I said, we did the stakeholders meeting where we began some blow mind sessions. Some people were brutal, yeah, telling the truth in some locations where we lost. In others, we know what happened. But in addition to that, we formed another task force to take all of the input and the recommendations from all of that to now define a strategy going forward. Yeah? And of course, that we will never expose in public. What that strategy would be like going forward. Some of the structural things will be public. Other things we'll keep as our own internal strategy. On the speakership, the Constitution is very clear how to elect a speaker. Yeah, 2/3 majority of all members of parliament. All. Voting. All. Not majority of those voting, or 2/3 of those voting. 2/3 of all. And they're very clear. You can go read the Constitution and say that's what it says, and the standing orders. So, that's why I say APC should answer that question, not me. We now we fall. Yeah, now we fall in a parliament. Then get 68. SLPP get 49. So what's happening? And I get for explain also. But the Constitution is clear about that. So we hope that again we follow rules, we follow systems. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. My name is Alhaji Noah. I'm one of your sons that you never met. You know, at my age, I'm very pleased. Like, I was also a strong member of the All People Congress. I resigned December because I didn't see no direction, no leadership. Just like Doctor said earlier, you know, I don't see any role model within the APC. Earlier, you know, I don't see any role model within the APC that I would say, you know, I want to be like this individual. But when I do research about you, and see the kind
Excuse
of work
me, reminders need to
we, other people, respect you. We, Sierra Leonean, we fail for respect this man. We fail. No, when I say we, not everybody, not we NGC. The people we not vote for make Dr. Kanu Kela President of the Republic. You know, because out of all Sierra Leoneans, God sent this man. You know, God bless we, but some people God they bless them more. And well, please, this man here, the Whitman they respect him, the world respect him. But we Sierra Leoneans there will not respect this man here. This man give up things them. We will not. I like I give him. I'm going to give me American citizenship. Yeah, Salo.
Don't make it fast, please.
Keep it up, fast. But he said no. This man, he look in track record. He don't want power. He don't want money. He don't.
The groups to say we need.
We not go regret why we come out.
The numbers. In fact, in your area, they put soldiers and police to deny our own polling agents in the county. Ambassador Dabo, they almost manhandled him. And people say, "Oh, no, not touch our lawyer." Not soldiers. The things they did in Kabbalah to deny us because we won those seats. In Kabbalah, at least 2 MP seats and the district councils, we won. Our friends fiddled with the numbers. So those are the petitions now in court.
Hold on. I say, ladies and gentlemen, we will get for a wrap up. We can ask all the questions they will get in the park. Or want to take this opportunity, Doc, for recognize Mr. Apollo Suma, one of the long distance runners.
Ideas. In fact, when he came to see me 2 years ago, he said, "Comrade, you have given me a reason to put on my battle dress again." You know, in his own way of speaking. So I just say to you, keep those ideals. And again, Yila, I'm happy to see you. I know your daughter is grown now, but today is the 40th day. Please send to the family that we recognize the brother here. Well, I know we have to go to the park. If somebody has a burning question.
Yeah. Mina Abdul Karim Kamara. We will spend 2 months in Africa. My question is this. Since after the election, we know a reform we're running it, and people, too curious want to know the position of running it, and we get heavy questions from that. And the second question is this. Now the White House, Alaji have they testified and now with the White House. They lack training and they take people from world coordinators, carry go to the White House, from house coordinator, but go down to polling agent. It was too much. So like we needed coordination. Go for training before polling day. And that will be lack.
Okay. Then Fatima.
Hi, Doc. Me a question I want to ask. And a question we don't do. The rumor we don't do around. The question say APC they try to recruit you for them be the next leader. I want to let you answer that to the public now. Number 2, the second thing I want to say, not just a comment. Not to wait I think, Doc. Waiting to go out there. So many people then get complete communication blackout. Now waiting at the area and tweets and they try for being council.
You're right, you're right.
But the one thing I want to say, this one also
Please, I want me to go.
The comment I want to make now is whatever we want to do, whatever system we want to put in place, we want to allow we in the diaspora follow we able print we young candidate. I mean, Nana, just think about that and let me know.
For now, that last one they know until we have a firm grip. Then we'll decentralize. First, it is central. Very simple. And we just proved it with Washington. Send us your list by email. You get your cards within 2 weeks by DHL. We don't provide, they work. After we have full grip and we have the databases established, then we decentralize. And we have what we call the necessary controls. If we do and I go be chaos.
Yes.
I have experience to say that. Oh, our and I'll answer your last question.
I just want make you know one thing, you don't forget Kono, because you don't did work na Kono. And I know say the work with you town, but the also don't need you.
You are being lonely, listen.
You all discourage waiting happen like me, you know. So I feel say make you just think about the whole Sierra Leone, because some of we with the campaign as we talk to the youth then. and they want you, and they want be by you. Okay? We just want to get strength. Okay.
The question about the running mate, Andrew is active. The good thing about me and Andrew is we are professionals. So we all get professionals in the way they do. And that's what we were campaigning about during the elections. Let us have people vying for leadership that have a fallback, that have a professional occupation or business. Otherwise, some man way don't begin, so you know they come on politics. Now, so if they do any kind of bad thing, we will comfortable. Andrew is back doing his engineering stuff, but they meet regularly. Yeah? When they do work together. Well, you know, say Andrew different from me also. Me are they there, they come in at the parliament. But yes, he's with us. He's still active, we're planning together and doing things. But that's the beauty. You see now, he's still the right ponder my thoughts now, so even doing the campaign in Olef. And that's what we were saying to people. You need professionals. Where man they have up saying at the first time they go sit down at business class. They don't go left for, they go do anything bad for hold on to power. We were very clear. We win, fine. We want to help the country. If it doesn't work, we go to our profession, but we keep advocating. So Andrew is still engaged and doing what he should. Trust Abu Sako, he will always ask the difficult question. And when they turn, so they say they will afraid for going, they say they go put it instead. This why I'm not afraid. Look, bottom line is, yeah, the rumor they 1 minute they say I don't join this party, NGC, another one they say I don't join other side. The important thing is we're relevant, right? They do it more about us than others, not so? This is because NGC is relevant. So that's good news. The second thing is, I made it clear, NGC is a coalition. At an appropriate time, we will decide with whom we will have a strategic alliance. Not so. That's what I said before. And that's what I maintain. But NGC is there to stay. No, I mean, if some of we be one be minister or don't be minister, not so. But we stick to what you want to tell me. As I tell you, so now young man and tell me, say, doctor, no more for. Hello, the man and do it to the boy if you form up away. So, but apart from that, yeah, I have values. We formed this party together for certain reasons. And I'm true to that. And I want a strong institution called NGC. Later on, we, with other political parties, will form our strategic alliances. Two more, and then we gotta go. Otherwise, we'll be late.
I thank you very much.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Doc, thank you very much. Now listen, please. It's just 1 minute. I thank you very much, because the question where the one asks, they don't answer it. You answer and they say, what thing will happen? Why will not be hearing from you? And why it be tell? Because you not be get to it. There was a problem. You don't answer it just now. Then number two, I just want to tell you, say, if you hear the audio, they go, a leader without a vision, the people perish. I mean the Senate. Then at the top to Yokela, Kutubu, so that we go move on. Kutubu not left you. You not left you at all. You not be able to come. Anything will confuse them, they tell me. This man, Mr. Lasana Sanko, because we plan about, he said, Mr. said.
1 month. And
so that we go move on. Kutubu not left you. You not left you at all. You not be able to come. Anything will confuse them, they tell me. This man, Mr. Lasana Sanko, because we plan about, he said, Mr. said. The people that take not zero. In the end, they submit them. So we've been trying to mobilize, but you people they don't go. So we've been mad, we've been vexed, here to talk. I say, well, instead of you vex, you know your reality. Let I go meet this man and tell him, wait till me happen.
Not to all till they talk now.
Yeah,
but some side we go there. Some side we go there and net. Me, I know say Bouton and Kenematon, they vote for me. Nobody know they convince me otherwise. We go side and above Kenema and Kono. The observers then they go ahead of we with the Land Rover and they pack the way. Yes. They were recording. They were interviewing people. That's why some of them don't believe the results. Bo Town, Kenema Town, it has to convince me otherwise. Not to one time we go campaign at Kenema. It is several times, 3 times. The town hall meeting, they were they called 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 people. Up to the last week. Same Nabo. So I have no doubt that whatever happens, and by the runoff, people now started confessing. Docs not take a battle. You know, that's so and so happened. So not take a personal. So all I'm saying to you guys is, look, we know what we did well. We know some of these mistakes. But we also know some of the social pressures. We know the social pressures that also happen through some traditional systems to defraud us. But we've learned. Finally, I take this opportunity. One of the people who raised me is here. Mrs. Kamara. She's one of you here. This woman, yes, is my auntie. She helped to raise me. There were those times in high school, I go find an Alonso, when I also go to Kasada live while they secondary school. But even though you don't retire long time, this why I get mine. You go sit on Alonso 1 month. 1 month. And that 10 days, some man they don't go, they say, NGC no the campaign now. But you know we see woman before they get mine not so. So Philadelphia one time kuna for another ambassador who wanna be sent for week. And also plenty of una go. But this is one woman as well who wanna be sent. And also wanna support them and so on. Lonsar was not an easy place. This way brother they see say must ask the last question. Okay.
Which one go for?
Which
side
you know, the giving conditions the way to implement the impoverished people. Okay? And for that idea they make, I don't really get interest and I really get a card. I go salon and register as a patron member. Okay? And one thing also I want to observe this evening is that salon political parties, they get a shortcoming. They highly tribalized. That country, a small country, 7 million, no safe. Okay? What is the strategy of NGC who makes us say, at least in the hierarchy of the party, it is tribalizer? I mean, I saw really they insist because at the first, I don't go to the country, at the cookout. So we can go all the way to New Jersey. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Let's take this opportunity for thank all the way come off and Yahweh, Philadelphia, Houston now. Thank you very much, including Jersey, New York, Baltimore, and Delaware, and some other places. But again, how we have to accept that right now the country is in a delicate position. We get a clear divide. Okay, for heal that nation day. And if you look the final results, 51%, 49 points on Tinotoso, it's about 2% difference. We NGC have to help to heal the nation. Yeah, that's why I emphasize constructive opposition. We know the balance because of region. We take positions based on what is in the interest of the people. And at the big seller, we all be true to that message. If you've been look with party hierarchy said, Mina been the flag bearer from the north, and Dukaili Ronnie made southeast. Dennis Bright chairman western area. You can go down the list. We take 10 for balance a lot of things out because we wanted to show saloon force. And we hope going forward that that will continue. And it is not going to change overnight. 70% illiteracy in the country. But as I said before, I know we had a lot of votes in McKinney. I know we had a lot of votes in Botown and Kenema. We have to learn to protect our votes. I heard what people told me during the runoff when they needed our support. So you know our numbers were not real. But we have learned, and we should prepare some of the questions that came up here to protect those votes next time. And we continue to again try to heal our country and unify. That's why people have to see openly that when it is necessary, we are firmly opposing. When it is necessary, we are firmly supporting government programs that are in the interest of the people. It's not based on tribe and regionalism. It is clearly based on our own values as well. Constitutionality, inclusiveness, and also fighting corruption. And of course, dealing with some of the vulnerable groups, the youth, the women, and so on. I want to thank all of you, and Victoria, thank you for giving us time. I'm happy she's having some rest. Hey girls, take care of my sister for me, because we need her back when she's strong again. This time we'll give you good protection. But I thank all of you, Philadelphia. Thank you for hosting us so well. Thank you very, very much. I am really, really